we now have a first look at Mr. Fantastic's abilities in Marvel Rivals, and he's the first hero in the game to be flexible enough to basically be a tank and a duelist. He is classed as a duelist though, and for most of the time that's the role he will fill, but his abilities, especially his passive, will change that. So let's take a look at what his abilities do and how they change the flow of gameplay. Before we get into that though, I will be playing the new Season 1 build early and showcasing everything coming, so make sure to subscribe for my early overview of Season 1. It will drop tomorrow. Mr. Fantastic's main attack is a punch, but not your typical punch. It can stretch out longer distances to hit enemies from afar. So whilst we can consider Mr. Fantastic a melee duelist, he will have far greater range than any other melee hero. Mr. Fantastic's second attack will grab two enemies at once, and pressing it again will hit those two enemies into each other in the air, dealing damage and potentially even stunning them. And then we have the shift ability, which lets Mr. Fantastic absorb damage and abilities, which can then be sent flying back towards enemies. This seems like an amazing counter and shows his flex into being a bit of a vanguard. Mr. Fantastic's E ability seems to let him stretch out and move quickly towards a target. In doing so will give him some additional health, and it will do a little bit of damage when activating. It has two uses charged up, so you can use it back to back as well. And then we have Mr. Fantastic's passive, and it's with this that he basically becomes an off tank for your team. By using Mr. Fantastic's abilities, he'll charge up a meter, and once it is filled up, Mr. Fantastic will inflate his chest, increasing his size and also giving him extra health and health restoration. It seems in this state that Mr. Fantastic will be quite a threat. And of course, how could we forget Mr. Fantastic's ultimate, which seems to be similar in ways to Winter Soldier's. He can leap down to the ground, dealing damage to enemies, and then leap back up and hit the ground again multiple times. It doesn't seem to be as damaging as Winter Soldier's ultimate, but you can use it multiple times without killing enemies first. We'll get to see Invisible Woman's abilities soon too, so make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss my rundown of her abilities too.